So we've been talking about the viability standard. One of the arguments, Hallie, that's going to be made by the state of Mississippi. The viability standard in Roe v. Wade right now is around 24 weeks, right? And I pressed Marjorie Denenfelser, the head of Susan B. Anthony List, which is a anti-abortion rights group that has been lobbying for that for the last 30 plus years or so, about viability. And we well know the statistics here. It is rarely a fetus survives before 24 weeks. I asked her about that, especially with this Mississippi case, which is arguing to a certain extent now to stop abortions at 15 weeks because of the viability standard. They believe the bar has now subsequently moved. Here's what she had to say about that.
We believe that the viability standard, and not just we, but most people believe the viability standard doesn't make any sense in terms of whether a baby yet to be born lives or dies. So the viability around Roe versus Wade was at about like 28 weeks. And so for every decade, it's changed about a week. So we're around like 22, 23, somewhere around there. So again, 15 weeks is a conscious decision to place it before viability so that we point to the humanity of the unborn child, whether or not it can live outside the womb on the table right after it's born or not.
And I tell you, Hallie, one of the arguments that's being made at the rally behind me that is arguing on behalf of anti-abortion protesters here, they're talking about and naming children that have survived that were born before 24 weeks. I want to tack on to that something else that Marjorie had to say, talking about what's going to happen in the Supreme Court, what will ultimately happen, what decision will be made. And as Pete laid out, some of the circumstances that could come of this, some of the decisions, the various decisions that could come of this, could be the ultimate overturn of Roe v. Wade. And if, in fact, she believes that's what should happen, here's what she had to say about that.
That is what has been guaranteed for almost 50 years because democracy has not been allowed to help resolve this problem with people who disagree. Consensus and allowing consensus to build is how it gets resolved. And the only way that happens is that Roe is overturned.